Everybody. So I thought I'd make a video about right versus wrong because I think for a lot of us we hold back our what we want to say and how we want to express and even our true feelings with somebody that we care about deeply because the idea of being wrong. And that stems from when we're little. And I know my dad used to tell me if you don't do it right, don't do it at all. But right according to who? According to his rules, right? According to how he thinks I should be. And always in his eyes, I did everything wrong. So when I started on this journey where I started making videos and I started putting myself out there more and more, my body would tighten. And, it was like this fear of doing it wrong. And even when I first started seeing clients, and especially when I first started doing hypnosis, I did these scripts and I just read scripts to clients and it didn't feel right to me. I mean, they were getting results, but what I like about the way I do my healing with my clients today is I'm with them in the energy. There's nothing pre-planned. And it's just so beautiful because that way I can just be open and allow spirit to express through me. And that's even what I'm doing right now. I have no clue when I make my videos what I'm going to share. I just have this inspiring idea to open my computer and start talking, and it's so beautiful to live this way. I mean, this is like more of our natural way, right? The problem is our conditioning gets in the way. The problem is our judgments get in the way. The problem is, all these fears or past hurts and wounds get in the way, and they clog us. We say we suppress our feelings, but we're suppressed, and unless we're, expressing naturally, and it is scary. Social consequences are at stake, and you never know how somebody's going to view us according to their eyes and their perceptions and their beliefs, and they may say we're wrong according to their reality, and that's fine. I even had someone tell me that, what I do for my healing is wrong and I shouldn't be doing it. And I'm like, maybe I should stop my purpose and what I'm here to do because you don't like it. So there's always going to be people, right, with their own judgments and their own fears, because a lot, especially when I'm talking about healing, right? So it triggers a person's protective part that doesn't want to go there. So their walls are going to go up. They may even come at you stronger. Some people come at me stronger, and that's okay. I know what's happening, and most people don't. Most people don't understand protector parts, and our protector parts are really strong, and they'll do anything to protect us from going into our hurts and pains. They'll find an excuse. It's like somebody gives us permission to do something where it's protecting our hurt and pain. We're going to do it, and we'll say, yeah, that's really good, especially with this idea about people pleasing, right? And some people go to the whole other extreme and they're like, I'm not going to do anything for anybody. Well, that's not really the idea of it. People pleasing is when we're doing something to receive something from that other person, either love, acceptance, or whatever. That's people pleasing. When we're doing it from the heart, from our caring, from our loving, that's such a beautiful connection with another beautiful being, and that's great to discern. Now, we don't want to go to extremes, and there's a lot of times like we try to overcompensate for a lot of the feelings that we have deep inside. Like if we're feeling shame, if we're feeling less than, if we're feeling not good enough, we'll try to overcompensate for that and try to prove that we're good enough by, accumulating a lot of stuff or whatever. There's nothing wrong with that. Again, it's the energy that we're coming from in which we're doing our things. The same thing with, talk about marketing for a moment, just for a moment. And this whole idea, marketing speaks to our fears of not being good enough. And when we're not feeling good enough, anybody could sell us anything. Buy this, you'll look better, all these things. And, welcome to the world of marketing. And I always suggest to people to always stop, check within. Is this really what I'm wanting and needing? Is this something that's either feeding my ego or my soul? And, even if it's feeding the ego, it's okay, but to understand, where that's coming from. Am I trying to get love by Am I trying to prove that I'm a good enough person if I and all these things. It's important to understand the underlying energy that's driving our behaviors. That's what self-awareness is. Self-awareness is being aware, and most often we're not aware because we're just using our conscious thinking. And what we know in our conscious thinking is not what's going on internally. Time and time again, I'm with a client, and we'll go into the energy, and there'll be this scared little girl or boy in there, just really scared to express themselves, really scared to do what they do. Really, it's like that part needs to be expressed. A lot of us are emotionally immature. We haven't expressed ourselves. We haven't been able to because when we were younger, we weren't allowed to. So that energy gets suppressed and eventually it gets expressed. And how does it get expressed? In challenges in relationships and challenges in our life and challenges in different areas, right? Not to say challenges aren't bad because they're part of our soul's growth and evolution, but this same token, we don't need to continuously have the same challenges over and over again. Those always stem from unhealed aspects of us that we haven't acknowledged, that we haven't held in the loving, that we haven't given a voice to, A lot of people say, oh, I don't need to do inner child healing. It's like, that's fine. But the thing is, like, all of our blueprint is created when we're children. So we continue to filter our perceptions and points of views of life and ourselves through that blueprint. We continue to react and respond the same way that we reacted and responded when we were little children. We continue to have these ideas and perceptions of ourselves from a limited perceptions and point of view. And that's why healing is so important. I say going into the emotional blue, allowing that energy to kind of dissipate. When our energy is flowing freely, we can connect more deeply with the truth of the core of our being. We can connect more deeply to higher consciousness. We can get more deeply to all that is. We're not so caught in right, wrong, good, bad. I like you because you behave the ways I want you to. I don't like you because you're not behaving the ways I don't want you to. You said one thing, so you're written off my list. One thing I didn't like, and that's how I lived when I was little. If anybody said or did one thing to me, bye. You're out of my life. And it's impossible. Everybody's going to trigger us in some way or another. You can't get around it. It's just like, it's beautiful when you can say, oh my God, so that person, that beautiful angel just triggered me. So we take the focus off that person. We feel into the energy. Wow, what is this bringing up for me? Okay. Going deeper layer by layer by layer. I am unworthy. I'm not good enough. Punishment at that core is a big one. And that's why a lot of times we get upset. If we consider the idea that we'll be punished, we're gonna defend that part at any part. It's a lot of times, so we deflect that onto the other person, so we don't have to feel that. The idea of being wrong, if we feel shame in any way, we're gonna get mad at that person for activating that shame in us. And the thing is to realize that, self-awareness is taking personal responsibility for our thoughts, feelings, actions, and behaviors. Nobody can make us feel a certain way. They trigger things in us, and we have this opportunity now to shift that energy with compassion and love. And that's how we integrate. That's how we start to love ourselves more. That's how we connect more deeply with our truth. That's how we feel our soul's loving energy. And this is a process. It's not an overnight fix. A lot of people contact me, I just want one session. It's like, okay, well, first session, we're kind of like clearing it. We're bringing things up to the surface, and then for the next five weeks, we work with that energy. We deepen in our connection with our truth. We continuously clear, because that stuff's going to come up. Once we start working with things and we're more open to healing, stuff is going to come to the surface. And it's such a beautiful opportunity to start to get to know ourselves better. So it's a beautiful opportunity to start to love our inner child who hasn't been seen, heard, or able to express. It's such a beautiful opportunity to come back home to self. And that's what I do. I help you come back home to self. A lot of people say, I don't want to heal. It's like, we're not just focusing on healing. We're also focusing on bringing out your greatest qualities. We're also focusing on getting to know yourself at the deeper level. We're also getting to know yourself, your authenticity, your creativity, the things that you love to do that have been suppressed because maybe they weren't allowed when you're younger. We grow up through these things. If we miss the stages of development, we haven't grown up emotionally. We may have grown up physically. The thing is, healing is growing up emotionally. Becoming whole is physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. Spiritual healing is, emotional maturity. It's helping our inner child feel safe and loved so we can integrate, so we can become whole, heart, mind, body, and soul. So I hope this video inspired you in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20 ways or another. Feel free to reach out for support if you like support on your journey. I know you can do this if you choose. I believe in you and I love you.